Okay, welcome back. You're with Christine Berry. Today I want to talk about something that comes up a lot in the spiritual and conscious business space, and that is the idea of 3D and 5D. So you've probably heard these terms before, 3D being the physical world and 5D being this higher level of consciousness or alignment or intuition. And often it's spoken about in a way that suggests we should be moving away from 3D and into 5D. But what I'm seeing more and more is that this is a way of understanding. That way of understanding is actually creating a lot of confusion, and in some cases, it's disconnecting people from their real life. So I just thought we'd have a little look at what that actually means. Being in 3D is not a problem. 3D is like the physical reality that we live in. So it's where your body, the environment, time, money, relationships, all the structures that hold your life together are within that. And there are certain dynamics that naturally exist, like cause and effect, action and result, decisions and consequences. And this is the realm where things start to take form, where ideas become real, where something that's internal becomes something that's visible. And yes, it's also a place where things like survival patterns and fear and control live, but that's not all that it is. It's also where you create and where you connect, where you experience being a human. So, the first thing I want to gently kind of challenge here is the idea that 3D is something that you need to move beyond, because without it, nothing actually becomes real. Now, 5D is often described as like a higher dimension, right? It's a more useful way to understand it is like as a state of consciousness. It's like the part of you that's aware, the part of you that can observe your thoughts, or rather than just being completely inside them. It's where your intuition lives and your inner knowing and that sense of connection rather than separation with others. And when people talk about being in 5D, what they're often describing is like a felt experience. So things like trust and presence and openness and flow, like a sense that life is happening with you, not just, against you, so to speak. And this is real, and this is something that people genuinely experience, but it's not separate from your life. It's a way of experiencing your life. Like, this is where things start to get a little bit off, because in a lot of spaces, 5D is positioned as better or higher or more evolved. And then 3D gets positioned as something dense or lower, or something you have to like leave behind. And what that creates without people realizing is a kind of subtle rejection of reality. So it can look like avoiding making decisions or not taking any action or disconnecting from responsibility or waiting for things to shift energetically before moving. And sometimes this gets dressed up as trust or alignment or waiting until it feels right. But underneath that, there can actually be a disconnection from the part of life that requires you to participate. So instead of thinking about this as 3D or 5D, a much more grounded way to understand it is like 3D is the form of the world of form, and 5D is the awareness that moves through it. So you're not choosing between them, you're already in both. And then when these two are integrated, like you can feel your intuition and you can act on it and trust your inner knowing and make really clear decisions. You can stay connected to yourself whilst you're participating in your life. You're not trying to escape reality, you're actually more present in it, but with a different quality of awareness. Right? This is where things start to feel more stable because you're not swinging between forcing everything or avoiding anything. You're in a relationship with both. In a practical sense, this might look like you notice when you're afraid of something, but it doesn't completely stop you. Or you feel into what's right and then you move with it. Like there's a sense of like groundedness and clarity and quiet trust. but it's not about avoiding life because you're actually in it. So, if you've ever felt like you're being pulled between these two ways of being, like you've got to choose between structure or flow, or alignment or logic or intuition, you don't actually have to. They were never meant to be separate from each other. And the more you allow them to work together, the more of your life starts to feel not just aligned, but it feels real. I hope this was insightful for you. Let me know what you think.